I'm going to play this clip just to remind people. I dealt with this before on MegiddoRadio.com. I talked about this before and I did a whole program at this, but I'm just going to play for anybody who thinks, well, come on, you're kind of exaggerating a little bit. What's wrong with Francis Chan? Well, I'm going to play this and then we'll comment.
And it happened again a few months ago when I was in Rome with the Pope. And Matt Maher was with me, and the Pope started to share with this group of pastors I was with the problems he saw in the Catholic Church. And I was like, what? You know, him just confessing his concern, like that Jesus Christ is not at the center of things. He says the institution is at the center of things, and I'm trying to get Jesus and his lordship back as central where it ought to be. And I'm like, what? You know? And as he began to confess things that, you know, and that's what Audrey and Matt were doing, and they'd heard me confess all my frustrations at the evangelical church and go, gosh. And it was such a great starting point, because it was almost like there were these sides that thought, oh, I thought you were oblivious to these problems in the church. And they're like, well, we thought you guys were oblivious to that. And the more you talk, the more you realize we have these concerns, and it seems like what the growing concern is on both sides is, like, for me, I believe in the evangelical church. I want to be careful to even call it that. Like, people who attend services, evangelical services, let's say, people that go to these gatherings, that many of them, and I don't say this out of judgment, it breaks my heart, it scares me. I believe many of them do not know Jesus. And
anyway, there's many things that could be said about that clip. But and that's not just like isolated. He seems to be far more positive about Rome than he is about the evangelical church. Now, there's elements of truth to what he's saying, and I share his concern. I think many on that day, Matthew 7:21, shall cry, Lord, Lord. And the Lord will say unto them, depart from you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity, you that work lawlessness. I understand that. But the fact that concern is not carried over onto Rome and all that. Anyway, long story short, very, very positive towards the Pope. And I think that's kind of the apex of his betrayal lately and his drift. And you think, well, where is this coming from?